This video is brought to you by Spigen. Today we're going to be comparing the iPhone 15 versus the iPhone 14 Pro. And the question is, should you go for last year's flagship, which is now available at a lower cost, or should you get the latest and greatest base model iPhone? Now, these are both great phones, but each has its own unique strengths, and depending on what you look for in a phone, will make one better over the other. But first, we have just reached 100,000 subscribers, a truly incredible milestone that would not be possible without all of your support. And to thank you, my wonderful community, I am giving away this brand new iPhone 15. And for a chance to win, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and subscribe to my second channel, Tech Book by Dion, link below. And then leave a comment with your Instagram username and follow me on Instagram at Dion Schuddeboom, where I'll announce the winner very soon on the 29th of December. Okay, so let's start with price, as this helps put everything into context. So the iPhone 15 from Apple can be purchased with 128 gigabytes for $799. Now the iPhone 14 Pro, while it can't be bought from Apple directly anymore, it's still easy to find new from, say, third-party websites and retailers, also with 128 gigabytes for around $800 to $900. So let's say on average around $50 more compared to the iPhone 15, meaning that these two phones today are actually very similarly priced, and this is what makes this comparison so interesting. In terms of the design, these phones are actually more different than you might think. So the iPhone 15 uses an aluminum and glass design compared to the more premium stainless steel and glass design of the 14 Pro. And speaking strictly from a looks perspective, there is no denying that the 14 Pro is the better looking phone. The durable stainless steel frame adds a touch of shine and contrasts so well with the matte glass on the back. On the other hand, the slightly rounded aluminum frame that you get on the iPhone 15 makes the phone a lot more comfortable to use and hold in the hand. Not to mention that the iPhone 15 is also quite a bit lighter compared to the 14 Pro. So which design is best? Well, from a durability and looks perspective, I'd say this goes to the 14 Pro. But from an ergonomics and usability perspective, it is the iPhone 15. Now for me, as someone who spends way too many hours on their phone each day, ergonomics is really important. And that's why for me, the iPhone 15 wins this category. Not to mention that the design of the iPhone 15 is actually also more repairable, since the glass back can be removed in one piece, and this means you get greener and also less expensive repairs. But what about the displays? Well, both phones feature a 6.1-inch display. Both are also OLED, so colors look really fantastic and help bring your content to life. And each also gets up to 2000 nits of brightness, meaning that even in direct sunlight, both displays remain clearly visible. Both also have the handy dynamic island, as well as Face ID to unlock. But there is one crucial difference between these displays, and that has to do with refresh rate. The iPhone 15 has a 60 Hz refresh rate, where the 14 Pro has a 120 Hz refresh rate. And this means that any movement on screen, whether it's animations or swiping, opening and closing apps, is just so smooth and fluid on the 14 Pro. And side by side, you really see this difference, where by comparison, the iPhone 15 feels a little bit choppy. Now, don't get me wrong, if you are already used to 60 Hz, then 60 Hz on the iPhone 15 will be just fine. However, once you do get used to that super smooth 120 Hz refresh rate, like that you get on the 14 Pro, it is hard to go back. And another feature that you're only going to find on the 14 Pro is the always-on display, which is nice to have, but is something that I actually turn off due to battery concerns. But we'll talk about battery in a sec. So it is clear that both the iPhone 15 as well as the 14 Pro have excellent displays with a lot in common. But the 120 Hz refresh rate of the 14 Pro does give it a big advantage, and this somehow makes the phone feel smoother and even faster to use compared to the 15. And for this reason, this round goes to the 14 Pro. So it is a tie so far, but we still have a lot to look at. But first, the holidays are here, and Spigen are giving away Ultra Hybrid 01 cases for the iPhone 15. And if you want a chance to win, be sure to just comment your favorite color, either black or white, and Spigen will choose 10 lucky winners. This case adds a unique design element to your iPhone to help you stand out from a crowd while still providing high drop protection. And they even have a version of this case for your AirPods Pro 2. And as you can see, that creates the perfect match. And I also like how both the iPhone as well as the AirPods case retain MagSafe functionality for convenient charging. Speaking of charging, this is where the ArcFit MagFit 2-in-1 magnetic wireless charger comes in. Now, this charger lets you easily charge both your iPhone as well as your AirPods. Super convenient, and I also like how it lets you angle your iPhone to be able to see incoming notifications, say while working from your desk. But what about the Apple Watch? Well, here too, Spigen has you covered with the rugged armor case now available in black for the Series 9. And I really like that this case not only protects your watch case, but also the display by having slightly raised edges going around. And then to charge, the Watch Stand MagFit Duo combines your existing chargers into one unique charging solution for your Apple MagSafe and watch ecosystems. It uses a non-stick base lined with nanotech technology and has a soft finish to leave your devices clean and blemish-free, perfect to keep your desk or nightstand organized. To learn more about this excellent line of products from Spigen, be sure to head to the links in the description and don't forget to enter Spigen's giveaway. So what really took me by surprise was when I first compared the camera systems of both phones. So the iPhone 15 features a dual lens system with a 48 megapixel main sensor and an ultra wide angle lens. And by comparison, the 14 Pro features a triple lens camera system with a 48 megapixel main lens, an ultra wide lens, and a 3x telephoto lens. The question is though, does more mean better? Comparing the 48 megapixel main lens on each phone, which is the most used and therefore most important lens, to my surprise, the iPhone 15 outperforms the iPhone 14 Pro, delivering better details and sharpness, especially when we zoom in on the image, despite both having a 48 megapixel sensor. So how's this possible? Well, this is thanks to the improved computational photography found on the iPhone 15. And then switching to the ultra-wide lens, the 15 again is slightly sharper and also shows better continuity when it comes to colors. Great if you're often switching between lenses. But the 14 Pro has that 3x telephoto, so surely this gives it a big advantage, right? Well, the 15 may not have a telephoto lens, but thanks to having the 48 megapixel main sensor, it can actually crop in and create a 2x telephoto, and this essentially creates a third focal length. Now, I love using the 2x telephoto. I find it to be the perfect focal length for portraits and product photography, and since this focal length uses the superior main sensor, it actually produces better images when compared to the 3x telephoto on the 14 Pro, and this is why even on the 14 Pro, I use the 2x more than I do the 3x. So for this reason, the 3x really doesn't add much value. A neat feature that is exclusive to the iPhone 15s is that you can now adjust the level of depth of field as well as the focus point both after taking the photo, and this adds new ways to edit your photos right on your phone. All in all, while both camera systems are impressive, side by side, the iPhone 15 has a clear advantage when it comes to sharpness, detail, and also offering more ways to edit your photos after taking them. And therefore, the iPhone 15 takes this category. Now, when it comes to performance, the iPhone 15 and 14 Pro are quite similar. So both use Apple's A16 Bionic chip and each have 6 gigabytes of RAM. And each phone delivers flagship performance, launching apps, switching between apps, games, editing photos, all are super smooth and equally fast and snappy on both phones. Now, I would also expect both phones to get around 5 more years of software support and updates, meaning that both of these will absolutely last, and therefore performance is a tie. But what about battery life? Well, the iPhone 15 lasts me all day, ending a workday with around 25 to 35% remaining, where by comparison, the iPhone 14 Pro after the same workday typically ends with around 10 to 20%. So this is quite a big difference, and you can see that battery life here is definitely not the same. I would say the difference in terms of screen on time on average is around 1 hour between them, which is quite substantial. Plus, the iPhone 15 now uses the newer, more versatile USB-C connection versus Lightning on the 14 Pro, and having USB-C means you can use one cable to charge all of your tech, and this also helps future-proof the phone. Of course, both phones do have MagSafe, and this is great to easily charge or add accessories. It is worth noting though that the 14 Pro technically does charge a little bit faster, 27 watts compared to 20 watts on the 15, but I will say in the real world, this difference really is minor. So all in all, taking everything into account, the better battery life and the use of USB-C on the iPhone 15 mean it takes this category. So which phone should you buy? Well, let's add up the score. So in terms of design, while the 14 Pro may be the more premium looking phone of the two, the more comfortable, ergonomic, and more repairable design of the 15 ultimately mean it wins this category. However, in display, this is really where the 14 Pro does have a noteworthy edge with that super smooth 120 Hz refresh rate. But then when we look at cameras, even comparing say 2 lenses versus 3 lenses, the 15's better sharpness, better detail, and better images overall mean it takes this category. And performance here is a tie. Both phones run really well and will do so for many years to come, but when it comes to battery life, the iPhone 15 2 outshines the iPhone 14 Pro with longer battery life and the inclusion of USB-C. So taking a step back and looking at everything, this all really paints quite a clear picture. While both these phones are really great, but if you are looking to buy an iPhone right now and are picking between these two phones, ultimately, I would say go for the iPhone 15. Let me know if you have any questions at all. As always, I'll leave the purchase links down in the description. And if you just got your iPhone 15, then be sure to check out my 25 tips and tricks video that will help you get the most out of your new iPhone. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance. And thank you all so much for watching, and take care.